everybody. Hey, Guardians. Welcome. My name is Dylan. I'm going to be your host today. And happy 11-year anniversary to Destiny 1's launch. I wanted to make sure to cover that at the very top because it's kind of mine.
Oh, son of a bitch, yeah, I just realized technically today is the 11th year anniversary of Destiny. I think technically almost to the date.
But we have Renegades. Sure. We have some really cool stuff to talk about that's going to be coming in December. We have a wonderful update from our development team. We've been listening. We're looking at your feedback, and we actually have some plans that are coming together right now to address it since Edge of Fate launched. And then we also have, on the second half of the show, we're going to be looking at Ash and Iron. We'll have a bunch of devs on the couch. We're going to talk about the activities, the loot, and potentially a new exotic that you might have been asking about. So, without further ado, Robbie, how you doing? Welcome back to the couch.
Hey, Dylan. It's
good to see you, Robbie.
And like you were talking here in the intro, like we've got some really big changes coming based on all the feedback we're getting from the Edge of Fate that we'll talk about right after we give a little bit of a first look at Renegades here. And that's why we got our laptops, right? There's a lot to get through, and there's a lot to talk about. So we're just going to make Dylan and I are making sure we're going to get through it all. So we've been hard at work.
I love that poster in the
collaborating
background.
with our friends at Lucasfilm Games to make something that is like unmistakably Star Wars, but authentically a Destiny story and experience. And so today we get to start pulling back the curtain on that.
Mm-hmm. And I'm going to embrace my inner Scarrow and ask, Robbie, is there a Vidoc?
Yeah, so you all asked for it. You're going to get it. We're about to play a Vidoc. That is our first look at the Lawless Frontier. You're stepping into a world of criminals, shady deals, with an arsenal at your disposal that you'll only be able to find within a black market here that's emerged within Seoul. And so, yeah, let's take our first look at Renegades.
All right, let's get into it. Okay, got the call again.
Seeing how stunningly Star Wars it felt was electric.
Oh, we do have lightsabers. What the fuck?
Jumped into that walker and I just annihilated the.
Wait, I'm sorry, walker. Oh my god. No way.
Squeezing that trigger and feeling that blaster just go off. It was like a whole new world opened up for me.
There's something really special here that we haven't really done in Destiny before.
That ignition, that hiss, that sound.
Oh, this is gonna be wild. The Lawless Frontier. Okay. So are we returning to Mars?
We begin in the shadow of a prophecy that says our end is already written. It's here we draw a line in the sand, where we start the long journey to fight our fate. In Renegades, Guardians infiltrate a criminal underworld to save a friend whose past has caught up with them and disrupt the rise of powerful new enemies.
Okay.
In special collaboration with Lucasfilm Games, we took inspiration from Star Wars to craft a one-of-a-kind Destiny story.
Oh, that's so
Renegades
cool.
redefines what an expansion can be. It brings the grit, guns, and glory of a space western to Destiny. But Renegades isn't just about power. It's about what you're willing to risk to change the future.
Okay, Drifter. Makes sense.
The folks at Lucasfilm were such great collaborators. They understood that in order for this to work, we had to find where the Venn diagram of our two stories meet. Themes of underdogs rising up against something much larger than themselves. Themes of hope. Those little places in that Venn diagram were the ones that really helped us find the story that we want to tell together.
If you look at Star Wars and you look at Destiny, you can kind of see that parallel that exists. So for instance, our Dredgen, they're our Sith.
Pretty Sithy.
Yeah, and then you've got the Barrett Imperium, and they are very, very
Oh my god, it's like Clone Cabal.
That
is
appetite for expansion.
Sick looking.
I think of the Praxic Order. There are Jedi in this release, and they are very focused on order and law.
I don't think I've had the chance to post in the Discord yet, but I definitely will eventually.
We get to poke at that a little bit in a way that suits our story and our world, while still feeling very much like the inspiration that we're calling from. Edge of Fate leaves us with a really big pass forward into the future. We know of this prophecy now that tells us that we need to bind the Nine or we face extinction. And Drifter was there on Kepler. He saw all of this.
Yeah. He definitely looked different after this. Like he aged, looked like.
Drifter is convinced that there's a connection between the Nine and the rise of this new faction, the Barrett Imperium. He sees them rising at an unnaturally fast rate and is insistent that there's a problem. But the Vanguard isn't listening. They're insisting that he needs to stand down.
Oh, really? Wow.
The cool thing about this criminal underworld is you and Drifter and your crew, you come in at the bottom, and at the top, there's the Barrent Imperium. You need to work with all these crooked criminal syndicates in between.
Okay, that's sick.
Power,
Some of the new
notoriety,
Fallen look
getting
dope.
the gear that you need
What
to
the
take
heck?
down that powerful Imperium at the top.
There's a weapon
This is
that
wild.
the Barrent Imperium have made, and we need to be the ones to destroy it. And we're not going to be able to do that unless we work with exactly the kind of people that we normally fight. So we're going to head out to the Lawless Frontier, and one job at a time, we're going to take down the Imperium.
The Lawless Frontier is filled with big, chaotic, cooperative activities.
Holy shit, that's a
You're gonna
big
choose the job,
hobgoblin.
you're gonna choose which renegade abilities you're gonna take into those jobs, and then you're gonna drop into the action with your team, smash up those objectives, get as many riches and treasures as you can, and then get out. Or die trying.
Okay.
To do that, you're
Interesting.
going to go to the Lost Frontier Hollow map. You'll see Mars, Europa, and Venus with swamps that are very reminiscent of Dagobah. There's some hints of Hoth in Europa, right?
Yeah.
For fans of both Star Wars and Destiny, like Mars, which is some pits that are very reminiscent of Sarlacc pits, and you don't want to fall into them, you'll die.
These are Destiny locations. It's just we're taking inspiration from some of these iconic places in Star Wars.
Okay.
Let's say we
Interesting.
go to Mars, and you're going to pick a bounty hunting job for the Fallen to take out some Cabal. And then you either
Okay.
matchmake with people online, you take your crew with you, you can play solo. Every time you drop in, you might be in a different location on the map. Your objectives are going to be a little different each time, and it also might be a different time of day. So there's a lot of variety and richness within these activities because we want them to be highly replayable.
Okay.
Along the way, we're going to throw a bunch of curveballs. You might run into a missile tower that's trying to take you out from halfway across the map. And you have to like divert and take it out, and you get some extra credits out of that. Defeat your boss, get to the exfil with whatever time you've got left. Call your ship in. All hell drops in on your head from the Cabal. Your ship flies in. You hop aboard, and you got to exfil.
Okay, that's actually kind of cool.
Over the course of the campaign and deep into the post-game of Renegades, you're going to be unlocking and earning a bunch of different Renegade abilities.
We've got things like airstrikes, ball
Jeez.
drop pods,
Oh, we can
like
drop
the
them on
walkers.
others. That's awesome. Walkers.
interceptors, swoop bikes, turrets. We've got 9 abilities, 7 upgrades. There's a ton of stuff that you can bring in and just change how things play.
It's like a tech tree of options.
It's like a whole tree of options across support, defensive, and offensive abilities. So you
Wow.
really have a lot to play with here.
The Lawless Frontier isn't just about raw power. It's about influence. Shady backroom deals, working for these powerful syndicates and against them at different times. And all of this takes place at the heart of the criminal underworld and Tharsis Outpost.
Tharsis
The Vanguard have
Outpost,
been
okay.
preoccupied. They've been off saving the world, and they haven't been looking at Tharsis. It's changed a lot since the last time we were there.
It's now this thriving black market, this criminal underworld. Tharsis Junction became Tharsis Outpost. If you have an unsavory job that you need done, you can find it at
Spider
Tharsis
again.
Outpost.
Tharsis Outpost feels appropriate for both Star Wars and for us. When we looked at Mos Eisley as inspiration, we knew that we could play in that playground in a really fun way. From the ghosts that you'll see floating around to one Elixni with all 4 of his Elixni arms shaking up drinks. We took that inspiration and we found the Destiny spin on it. Criminal syndicates have moved in.
You're working with the syndicates. You are building your notoriety with them.
The 3 different syndicates that we created, we're going to be dealing with. The Pikers are Elixni. They're kind of like an anarchist biker gang. Unlike other Elixni, they're atheists. They don't worship machines. They follow relics. We've also got the Totality
Really?
Division, a subsect of the Barrent Imperium. They're run by Scions, and their enforcer Rao is going to be the leader of this group. And we've
Okay.
got Tharsis Reformation. They are a breakaway group from Maya's Vex. They're starting to think for themselves and figure out what it means to be an individual.
They're starting to do crime. They're,
Oh,
they're wearing clothes.
okay.
Crime and wearing clothes are what all
That's-
individuals do.
That's
We need to have
Definitely
new people to fight and
interesting.
new people to root for.
Huh.
And this was our opportunity.
So Vex, that makes sense. If Maya's like making the Vex think
But the heart of the
independently
Renegade
now, that's
fantasy
actually
is not
kind
just
of cool.
surviving the lawless frontier. It's garnering influence and building your power so that you can bend it to your will.
Okay.
In the end game, we get the best weapons, the best armor, the coolest exclusive cosmetics. You're going to need to work with the syndicates to increase your notoriety by completing jobs successfully alone or with a crew, and then doing so you'll unlock our highest risk, highest reward jobs, and at the same time you're going to have the ability to do the special job that'll take you off planet to the dungeon.
Ooh, okay, dungeon, okay.
And you'll also unlock Invasion.
That's right, Invasion is back. But
Invasion?
this doesn't work like Gambit.
Oh,
It's
okay.
often the invader has some initiative when invasion begins. This is more strategic.
You scan the battlefield and you're like, okay, is this the right time for me to take the shot? And what's the right tool for me to do it? Do I use an airstrike or a vehicle? Do I use a Cabal Walker?
Okay,
Just watch out for that double cross.
Yeah.
wild. That's gonna be definitely
Renegades march the
interesting.
Guardian's descent into a criminal underworld. A world of shadows and syndicates, where your light and your choices will cut a path forward. You'll fight dirty, break the rules, and build a hardened crew that can take on any job, standing up to the most ruthless syndicates in the system. Even in the darkest corners of this world, there's still a glimmer of hope. Guardians will have to find their own version of balance between loyalty and survival, between power and purpose. Because there's more at play than credits and contracts. Forces are on the move, ones that see you not just as a player, but as a piece on the board. To change the future, you'll have to become the one thing they never saw coming.
Oh, okay, who's this?
Start the
Okay.
engines. Take off as soon as you can.
Okay, this is cool. I'm for this. I'm all for this. Already got all that.
All right, welcome back. Sorry, I love Vidocs. I gotta stop looking at chat. Let's get the show on the road. So pre-orders for the new Renegade Standard Edition start right now. And we actually have some added bonuses. Even if you pre-ordered the, what do we got? Year of Prophecy Edition, we have 2 additional cosmetics that are going live today with the patch.
Okay.
The Starside Introduction Emblem and a new exotic ship, which we call the Renegade Leader. You're going to see it on the screen right now.
Ah,
I'm going
nice.
to ask a silly question. What are we looking at?
I mean, I think we're kind of looking at something that looks like an X-Wing here a little bit, maybe a little red.
Classic
So,
X-Wing in
I mean,
the-
this is one of our
that's cool.
homages, right? That's the team had a lot of fun with. So we wanted to build like an iconic ship, Dylan, that kicked off the road to Renegades here over the next few months. And what's cool about this is you're actually going to see your ship, whatever ship you have equipped, that's going to be flying by when you deploy your Renegade abilities in the Lawless Frontier. And also, you're going to be using your ship to go between different areas within the Plaguelands here in the Reclaim activity that's launching today as well.
Awesome. So with, pre-orders talked about, let's dive into the Vidoc.
there's a lot.
Robbie, where are we starting?
Yeah, so I think it's like probably best. There's so much like to do a really kind of quick overview of what we looked at here. So Renegades thrust you and your crew into the heart of a lawless frontier that's emerged around Mars, Europa, and Venus, all new locations across those places. And you're trying to keep up with Drifter, ultimately, who's chasing startling visions of calamity and rumors of a powerful new Cabal faction that's rising, the Barren Imperium. That Imperium's installed themselves as top dog in the criminal underworld, and Drifter's convinced that the Nine is involved with the Imperium's rapid growth. It wouldn't be the first time the Nine have meddled in the background and done some crazy things with Cabal-related enemies. Anyway, so to deal with the Imperium, you're going to take on the role of a renegade. As a guardian, you're going to smuggle, sabotage, bounty hunt your way to the top of the lawless frontier, and that means you're going to be working with the shady syndicates to build your influence within Tharsis. But ultimately, like this is for the right reason. You're being the bad guy to do the right thing because you can't really ignore this prophecy of extinction that showed up at the end of Edge of Fate. Yeah.
So, I mean, you mentioned Drifter. We have a pretty stellar cast here, and there was a new character that we showed off in there.
Yeah, we showed one of our new characters. That's a new member of your crew who comes from the Praxis Order, actually. And they've been tasked with tracking down reports of dredging activity across the Lawless Frontier. And they've also been tasked with keeping an eye on Drifter because he's been seeing and saying some crazy stuff lately. And this is all being done in defiance of the Vanguard, so this Praxis Order is kind of here to kind of be oversight of everything that's happening. We've got a bunch of new villains, too, alongside the criminal syndicates and their bosses, and we just don't want to spoil too much right now. We're going to have more on the story closer to launch.
All right, so we've got smuggling, sabotaging, bounty hunting, wearing clothes, doing crime.
It's important.
Let's talk about the gameplay.
Yeah, so being an individual means crimes and clothes. We've established that going forward. So one thing to make sure is clear here, in the campaign that has a bunch of story missions, it's going to introduce you to also the jobs that you'll be taking in addition to those story missions within the Lawless Frontier. So you'll be kind of climbing the ranks of the criminal underworld here because the syndicates are not going to trust you out the gate. You kind of have to garner influence with them before they're going to help you out in dealing with the Imperium. And so then at the conclusion of the campaign, once that Imperium's chokehold is kind of loosened on Tharsis and the Lawless Frontier, you unintentionally kick off a turf war between the three syndicates, because now they're all vying for power because you've kind of toppled the top dog of their power hierarchy.
Yeah. And so let's talk about this. In December, the Lawless Frontier is coming. It's not just like a concept. It's an activity.
Yeah, and I know we're showing something on screen right now that is when you go through this daily ritual of dealing with contested territory, you'll be able to target the syndicate you want to kind of take down in that moment. But ultimately, the Lawless Frontier is a new activity where you'll be carrying out a variety of those missions, those smuggle, bounty hunt, sabotaging. I think you kind of can tell what they're going to be all about just with the name of them. And this is you just partnering with and against the syndicates. And so it's fast, it's tactical, and it's going to throw a ton of enemies and a variety of objectives within each of these jobs at your fire team in new locations across Mars, Europa, and Venus. This is all about big, chaotic co-op action within the Lawless Frontier. Yeah.
Cool. And then when you're working with the syndicates, I expect to be paid when I take on a job. What are they going to be giving us?
Every criminal does.
Yeah,
right. You know what I mean? So, one thing just to talk about at the top, because Tom and I are really excited about this, the creative lead on Renegades. The Cabal have been dropping pods on your head for 8 years now, something like that. And so with one of our Renegade abilities, we kind of get to turn the table on the Cabal and drop one on them. It also supplies you some ammo and stuff too, some nice convenience there. But the campaign ultimately introduce you to a number of these abilities. And the Turf War, you'll actually choose which syndicates you want to pledge to in order to unlock more abilities and a bigger suite of upgrades. Also, depending on which syndicate you're pledged to, there will be other bonuses and weekly shipments coming into Tharsis as well that you get to take advantage of. And so one thing I want to note too is that all of these Renegade abilities that we're talking about in the Vidoc, they're purely additive to your subclass abilities. The Renegade abilities do not override any of your other Guardian abilities. So your super, your melee, your grenade, that's all at your disposal on top of these Renegade abilities.
All right.
We really wanted to lean into the idea of this fantasy of you working with your crew and the various roles you could play within the Lawless Frontiers of all these different type of jobs that you're going to be doing.
Awesome. And then I have to give a shout out to James Sy. He's frankly one of the biggest Star Wars nerds I've ever met in my life. But he was talking about the blaster and that feel the first time he shot it. Let's talk about him.
Yeah, I love that blaster, and because my personal joke is it's like Forerunner at home. It's kind of like a legendary version of that exotic, and it just feels fucking incredible. Oh, sorry, it feels incredible. Excuse me, for kids at home. So we're gonna have a weapons deep dive close to launch. I know it keeps saying that. There's a ton of Vidoc. There's even more to be talking about.
I don't like the hunt. As a hunter, I love the arm.
About blasters right now is their new powerful weapons in your arsenal, and they actually draw ammo straight from your reserves, Dylan. And so the mechanic of this is basically heating up the gun and then venting it out. So no reloading technically, but since you have to charge up heat and you have to think about overheating, it's a whole mechanic and has its own special reload associated with it. And so it's going to be all about finding the rhythm of pace and battle between building up heat and venting it. It's really fun to play around with, and the team is really honing in on something that feels really special and new. It's cool.
All right.
It's cool, yeah.
So we're not going to go too deep on campaign because spoilers. We want to let
kind of
players
reminds me
discover
a
that.
little bit of third
We've talked about the
integration.
Lost Frontier, but one of the components is invasions.
Oh yeah. So you're going to unlock invasion as part of that turf war we've been talking about, and the syndicates are like reaching out to you, and they're giving you contracts to play Hitman against other Guardian crews. So it's 1 versus 3. It's you versus a Guardian crew on the Lost Frontier. And like we said in the Vidoc, invasion is 100% opt-in for both the invaders and the defending fire team crew. But don't worry, because all of the difficulty modes, there's always an option that is available to you if you don't want to engage in invasion. Yeah, we wanted to make sure that, because like even though some people love that PvE chocolate mixing with that PvP peanut butter, we wanted to make sure that if you didn't want to do that, there's always an option for you to do something else within the Lost Frontier.
And then if you do opt in, though, there's more rewards or incentive, right?
I mean, yeah, you're like you're basically saying, hey, fire team, I'm open to having another Guardian come and wreck shop and mess my day up, right? And so you're taking a higher risk, so therefore there's a chance of higher reward depending on how you handle that, right?
Cool. Yeah, I mean, so that covers gameplay effectively. We do have a dungeon. We showed a little tease, but again, no spoilers. We'll let you discover that on day 1. Let's talk about the last thing that players may have seen, or the first thing, honestly. We saw chat blown up. Let's talk about the saber.
Right. So, yeah, this is Destiny's homage, right? It's our love letter to the Star Wars lightsaber. And we're calling it the Praxic Blade. Again, we'll be sharing a whole lot more close to launch. I'm really sorry. I feel like a parrot right now just saying the same thing.
Cool.
But what I can say is that the Praxic Blade is going to be highly customizable in both gameplay and visuals. And so there's going to be
really
a ton of parts
okay
and components that you'll be chasing.
So literally
and
like building your own
throughout the
lightsaber. I like
within
that.
The turf war, within the dungeon itself, and this is all about kind of making the Praxic Blade your own. And you saw it in the Vidoc, but the blade really does feel truly exotic right now. You can do things with it that no other weapon can do in Destiny, and I really can't wait to players.
I'm interested to see what weapon slot it will be.
That's it for Renegades. We have 2 more big subjects to go through today. So thanks for running us through that.
Of course.
Our next section is going to be all about quality of life. It's going to be about a lot of feedback that we've been seeing in the live game since Edge of Fate launched. And then after that, we'll be talking about Ash and Iron with another cast of devs.
Quality of life
cool
updates.
stuff.
Let's do it.
So ultimately, we have quite a lot coming over the next few months. We're going to be talking about a bunch of high-level goals, objectives, some of our philosophy. We do not have a roadmap today, but we will have a roadmap in the next few weeks outlining our road to Renegades, which I've been calling it selfishly. So we'll figure out a fancier name for it at some point, but let's dive in. I think the first thing that I want to talk about here, let me get this up. I mean, ultimately, this feels like we're having a mini community summit on stream. But let's talk about rewards. Let's talk about the portal. Let's talk about power. Let's talk about the climb and the feedback that we've been seeing.
Yeah, so to do a little bit more table setting and framing here.
Okay, faster power
like we said at the
climb,
top of the
yes.
stream,
New activities, Renegade campaign launch
to
jobs.
Right, we've been listening very intently. We've been looking at our data, and Dylan, we know we need to make some changes, right? And so this is what this whole next section is going to be about. We're going to talk about a ton of stuff.
Cool.
Some of it, a little bit of it is going to come from Ash and Iron, a lot more in Renegades, and then even more in the future. And so coming back to the power climb, we want it to be faster, we want it to have improved rewards, and we really want it to highlight new and aspirational activities when Renegades launches. And so that means looking at the Renegades campaign and the Renegades jobs and the Lost Frontier and the activities you do there. And
I don't mind the portal. I've never really minded the portal the way it's structured, but it kind of just felt like there was nothing, recycling the same old legacy content. I wanted it to be focused on the new stuff.
It didn't fit into the seasonal power game, right? It didn't feel like it was a viable path. And so these big chaotic fire team based jobs that we've built and all that variety we're pouring into it is going to be this engine to climb seasonal power. If you're just loving that activity, you're going to be able to spend an enormous amount of time there.
Yeah,
good.
And you touched on aspirational content. So when we look at it, you're doing the power climb, but you're looking at the end game, and our raids and dungeons are a part of that.
Yes, they are. So we are making sure here, there's 2 approaches we're taking and a bunch of work that's going to come out of it. So our focus initially here is going to be on the new raid and dungeon content in this conversation. So that is Desert Perpetual, the Epic Raid here in a couple weeks, and then the dungeon releasing with Ash and Iron. And so we want to make sure that those are more dependable sources of power, both from weekly challenges, some of which that are going to happen in Ash and Iron, But then also we're going to be looking at the power drops that come when you're completing encounters and looking to see if we can adjust those and juice them up a little bit. The other big area, because what we're talking about when we say aspiration is like in-game. You're doing an in-game thing. I should be rewarded for that. So with the launch of the Epic Raid for the Desert Perpetual and Epic Raid and then the dungeon afterwards, we're going to make all drops, the base drops you earn in that content, tier 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's ultimately attesting to like players got through some of the power grind. They went into the raid and they were seeing tier 1, tier 2 drops, and that didn't feel like endgame loot.
It did not.
We're making this tier 3 is the baseline, but then you can build up to tier 4 and tier 5 as you add more challenge, add more difficulty.
Okay,
And
that's nice. Tier 3 loot, that
we talked about
I'll
improved
take
rewards right around,
especially for endgame
content that is
content.
coming. This effort though is also being applied across the portal itself, and so Dylan, I know you and I've talked about it a bunch. You know, we talked about solo ops, right? You mentioned Caldera.
Yeah, let's talk about
the Caldera thing.
More reasons or more ways to play.
Yeah, exactly. And part of that theory right here is just like that thinking is we just have to improve the rewards, right? And so a lot of what we're doing is going to be about bringing the baseline of the reward experience with Renegades up to that, closer to that solo ops experience, and also really incentivize playing in fire teams more because, hey, we know Destiny's feeling lonely right now if all you do is spend time in the mines, right? And so we want to do we know we need to do a much better job.
Yeah, I agree, Luna. Like the fact that you're doing,
example,
you know,
we're talking about Caldera. It's a solo op activity.
Yeah,
and
like
players
just
feel it is the most
getting
viable
level
path to power. So a social game like Destiny, it is a problem where you feel like you should be playing alone for all the reasons. It's like, hey, sorry friends, you want to play raid, you want to play something else? Sorry, I'm going to go into Caldera
it's
and play
like
alone. We want to.
I know what you mean. It's like I hate
make sure
sometimes when I'm
Destiny's
doing
social,
content.
fun,
I'm just
fun to play
there's
with
times where I'm
friends,
just getting
while
tier
still
1
maintaining,
gear,
hey, as a
nothing
solo
really
player,
getting
you
anything.
can absolutely hop in, but we are going to make you feel.
I'm not even done the
Example
newest
there,
raid
too,
because
we
I
said,
hear
hey,
it's
we're gonna
just
tone
been as
down Caldera and
difficult
solo
as
we're actually reverting
Salvation's
that. We
Edge.
announced it, we're
I'm
taking
just
that back
don't get me
because
wrong. I don't
instead
mind
that's the new
difficult
benchmark.
content,
We're
but
gonna raise
especially when you
things
got people
up
that
to
aren't
feel like Caldera and feel rewarded
willing to
like solo op.
teach
Yeah,
or
we've already
just
talked about
relax
it, we're
and
doing some of
chill.
that in
I
Ashen
don't
Iron.
have that.
One of the
I
other
don't
things
have
we're
the
looking at
patience to
doing
deal
in
with
Ashen
people
Iron
just
right
being
now is
rude and
taking our
disrespectful.
bonus
Especially when we got some people that are
and
like,
having them.
oh, you know, I'm not gonna
just
let you
more
play
consistently
unless you know
award
what you're
power,
doing,
vigor,
or you have like
climb, and
10
just
or
do
more
that.
clears of the
We're
raid.
also, this is a good segue, I
But
think,
then
kind
you
of into
put
our
a post
next
that's like, hey,
area,
teaching.
where we can talk more about reworks we're going to be doing within the game and some changes we're making. So the other thing we're going to be doing with bonus engrams when Renegades launches is they're going to feed more into a weekly ritual. You know, a thing that you know when it launches, there's a bunch of stuff to do that's going to accelerate you into power climb.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about the effectively weekly reset.
Yeah,
curated
the
activities from Bungie.
fact,
So you have
yeah,
a
I know what you
moment
mean.
each
Not
week
killing
of,
off. They did
let's
say
hop
that
into raid
they
night.
are
Let's
making
do
an adjustment. I don't know if they're
Grandmasters,
making in
things like
this
that.
update
Yeah,
with
so
Renegades,
the thing you're speaking to, Dylan, the
where
thing we talk about a lot
speed
like,
is going to give you more
clan
points,
night,
even
raid
if you
night, right?
finish
We
it
gotta get that
faster.
feeling
I don't know if
hey,
it's with this, but they
I
did
log in on
mention
Tuesday
that.
and there's just like a bunch of stuff,
And I think it was either
to
like
look forward to. And
this
so
past Thursday
a
or
few
the
ways
at
we're
least
gonna
one
do
of the
that is
twabs.
one with a new
least one of
system
them.
that we're calling
I do
Vanguard
one thing
orders,
hope,
that
even
comes
if they
out
don't bring in
Renegades.
Ashen Iron, I hope with
So,
Renegades, like
Vanguard orders
along
are
with
actually
the
this,
story
new
missions.
objective system,
Personally, I want
where
them to bring
you're
back
gonna be,
the
and we should have a
seasonal
mock-up on
story
screen,
content.
right
You know,
now.
once a week
Looks
we
like
get a
our
new
monitor
mission
isn't
that
showing
gets us
exact
playing
right
the
thing
game.
to our players in the studio, so I'm just going to
I know
assume
the portal
it's working.
system
And so
makes it
within these
different,
Vanguard
but-
orders,
yes! Oh my god,
you're gonna have all
weekly
these different
ritual and portal
objectives that
vary.
you
I
can
was just
do,
talking
and
about
you
okay.
don't have to
Vanguard orders.
pick these up like bounties.
Okay,
right?
so
these are things
not
that
exactly what I was
automatically
talking about, like
granted
weekly
to you,
story, but it's something
when you
to
log into the portal. And then what's really cool about these is that they pull some of that like Destiny 1 bounty vibe, where as you complete an order on the left-hand side of the screen of this mock-up here, you will actually
not exactly what I
can
was
roll on higher
talking
tier
about.
orders, like a legendary order that will give you consistent rewards, or an exotic tier order that can give you exotic tier rewards. And so this is all about just creating a bunch more like little moments of variety within the portal and these different little objectives.
I mean, okay, that's interesting,
We already
especially
touched
how to
on,
play. But like I said, I
bonus
want
engrams a
the
little
seasonal
bit,
story
how we're gonna be
content back,
reworking
where
those
every
even more
week
with Renegades
we
launches
get a
to
new
feed
part of
into
the
that idea
story.
of,
And
like,
I
look at
get
all
some
these
people
things
didn't
in the
like it
portal.
because
I
like,
know
oh,
if
it
I
was
go and
linear
gobble up all
hand
the green
holding, or it
engrams,
was the same
I'm
thing over
accelerating
and
my
over
power climb,
again.
and that's much easier and clearer
But
for players to understand.
I think
But
honestly,
the other
I
place
would
that we've been
much
getting a ton
rather
of feedback
have that.
and we're going to be making changes to is the weekly conquests, basically. So right now,
Yeah, I don't do
we have
PvP
the
at all,
concept of the
honestly.
conquest as a milestone.
And it's like,
on your
look,
seasonal
I would
power
much
tree, and it
rather
gives you,
have the
like, a
seasonal story
massive, like,
content
big
where it's at
dump
least
of
it's
rewards.
making my
We are gonna be
initiative to
making
come
those,
back
we're going to be making it
for something new
repeatable, but
every
then there's
week.
gonna
Even
be
if
a
it's like,
weekly
oh, I got to
reward
do
for them.
the
There's no
seasonal
way for us,
activity
honestly, to
again,
balance
when
the
maybe have some
crazy
different
amount of rewards
variety.
you get from the milestone,
Like,
but
I
we're
think
going to make
with
sure
the
we incentivize
portal,
them
it
and
should be
create
like,
a
okay,
weekly
you do
version is.
And we actually have a change going live today to make conquests repeatable, but the rewards component is what we need to focus on for a future.
But the way that I see
that
they should do is like, okay, say it's first week, right?
Back to that, like we
you
want to
get
conquest
the intro mission, and that mission introduces you to the new activity.
Kind of like our
then maybe like the following mission
the other big thing too that we've been listening to feedback on, and we're moving really
not just specifically around that, but you could do like, okay, you got to have to do say 4 portal activities, and you got to get a B ranking at least. That way, it's like, hey, you can either do the new activity if that's what you want to do, but you could also do other ones like just solo ops to make it easier and faster for you to get through. That way, you can spend more time actually enjoying
we want this weekly reset. We want you to clearly
newer activity without having to feel like you're just stuck doing that, nothing else for progression.
The reason I have to set expectations, though, is like we hear the feedback about wanting the gear reprised from raids and dungeons. Dylan, if we could just like flip a switch and make that happen, I think we'd be more than happy to do that. But it's just not that simple. There's a bunch of work that goes into actually creating the new gear and the gear tiers, and so we are going to be looking to make the reward experience of Legacy and Raid dungeons better as time goes on. Our first focus is making it fit into that weekly reset and into that power climb.
Yeah, I know there have been, speaking about that, like how people say they want like the Legacy, like the old dungeons, the old raids have tier gear. Like, I think I could see how some people would think it'd be just super easy, but I think, like, you know, it's I think it's easy for them to add a newer style system to the newer stuff rather than being more, and that being easier than trying to incorporate this new system into already existing stuff. I can see how why I would take a little longer. I'm okay with waiting, but
first of which is
make it happen.
Build crafting, and then the second is around just our general approach to balance. So we have another list
all
here.
Exotic armor
honestly,
are
we've been
featured.
getting a ton of feedback.
Oh my god!
Gear.
All exotic weapons and armor are now featured. They're not just like specifics. That's gonna be nuts.
Yeah. So this whole space is about
enhanced legendary weapon tiers and shadow.
And we have we hear y'all. Like we hear that featured gear is far too restrictive for how you're playing the game right now. And so one of the big changes we're making is all exotic weapons and armor are going to be featured gear starting in Renegades. So,
okay, in Renegades, that's fine. That's fine. But that's
back on the table. You don't have to worry about.
So with all exotic weapons and armor being featured gear, that's going to make build crafting so much better.
The other thing that we've been listening to a lot when it comes to the gear chase is like, hey, you know, you might earn a tier 1, 2, or 3 weapon. You know, a roll of a weapon you really love. Your personal god roll, or the community saying this is a god roll, and you're looking at that and you're like, man, it's cool, but like it's not that top tier, right? And so in Shadow and Order, which is our major update coming after Renegades, you're going to be able to enhance the tier of your legendary weapons all the way from tier 1 to tier 5 with a new currency and a new feature.
Okay, that is something I kind of like. I don't mind the. I mean, it does take away from the tier system, like the grinding.
As a player,
but
I'm guessing in chat.
In my opinion, here's what I think about that new enhancement
tier 1,
thing.
Tier 2, Tier 3 weapons. Where am I going to put these? What's going on with vault space?
Yeah, I think if
with Renegades, we are going to give you more vault space. That is the
okay, Renegades, more vault space.
And also,
cool.
the team is working on a pretty big
I will say, I really do hope that with, I think with this enhancement thing, the fact you can upgrade your tier 1s up to tier 5s, I think the currency should be very difficult to get to make it just as challenging as actually getting the drop of the tier 5s that you actually want. That's how I see it. Because it takes away the purpose of like, oh, the grinding of getting these cool looking tier 5s. If you just have a currency where I could take this, oh, this tier 1 weapon that I get at the very beginning, but it's got the rolls that I want, and oh, I got enough of this easy currency to get. Make the currency and the way you have to upgrade these tiered weapons just as difficult as actually getting
for the vast majority of the
or grindy as actually trying to get the tier 5 drop of the weapon that you want. The tier 5 drop you want. I think they need to make it the same amount of difficulty.
For you to basically use whatever you want in
because
the vast majority
if they make it easier, then there's no point to grind tier 5 loot if I can just grind enough of this currency to change it into tier 5 loot. It's the same thing with the build crafting thing. Don't do that.
There's a lot of feeling of I'm playing Destiny the wrong way, and this was contributing to it because I had to think, oh, if I put this armor on, it's wrong. This helps that out and gets you into the fun faster.
Yes,
and
like we do
yes, I think with Renegades, they need to give us 2 new darkness subclasses. Not a whole new
we want it to be part of the game because I think, pushing people off.
Yeah,
of
tier 5
super
shouldn't
hot
become
stuff is
easy.
really
It shouldn't
helpful
be,
sometimes
even if
to
it's
just
the
have more
upgrade
fun and
thing. If
experiment
you
with
want to
things.
upgrade, you
But we
can,
know
but
that
it
we need to
should be
find
just as difficult, like I
ways
said,
to
just
make
as
this feel like a
difficult
bonus and
as
more
tier
excitement
5
to do it
drops.
versus what
Now,
we currently have now, which is
upcoming
farming
super and
changes.
subclass buffs,
Awesome.
I don't
Yeah, and
mind
then our
that
last section
personally
here for
with
quality of
Renegades.
life.
The fact that we're doing
Let's talk
shady
about
deals
sandbox
and all this
balance. Y'all
backroom
have
stuff.
been,
I want them to
really,
give us new
taking a lot of
darkness
the
supers.
feedback,
I don't need a new
to
darkness
heart
subclass
since
yet.
the
I'm
announce of
fine
quite a
with
few
that. I would
nerfs
much rather us
and some
get
balancing,
a
and
new
you have
stasis
some
and
new
or
approaches to
strand
philosophy when it comes to
super
this.
Yeah, so at the top here, one of the things
and
we're doing
new
is
abilities
we're
in
upgrading
there
our internal process for
rather
how we
than
evaluate our buff and nerf
get a new darkness
policies and also
subclass
the
altogether.
timing
That's
of
just me.
which when we go
And at
out
the same
and do
time,
those. And
like,
so a big part
there's
of
some
that
people that
here,
might be back and forth on this.
through Renegade's launch is going to be non-critical balance changes are on pause right now.
Yeah, fresh aspects would be
so
nice.
this
I
is
think personally,
partially in
one
reaction
thing
to
that they
obviously
could
some
do, and I
sentiment
think the
around
reason
some of the
why they've
changes
been
we're making,
struggling
but
to
it's
want to
also-
put
it's
new
giving
stuff
time for
in the
us to
lights
make sure that
in
when we do
this
start to do
the
more balance updates
single
a little more
subclasses
frequently
is because
again,
they don't put the new stuff with
we
prismatic. In my
communicate,
opinion,
honestly, we just need to do a better job
crack
about
prismatic
communicating about
open
why
like an
we're
egg
changing
and just
something
let us have
and some of the
complete
intent
unwrapped
behind it. And the reason I speak about
building
this,
into it,
yeah,
or
'cause
make
you
it
asked me
to
this a
where
couple times in
like
our rehearsal demos, what
like
is
there's a
non-critical?
system
Sorry,
where it
I'm
oscillates. Like,
sorry.
hey, if you
I'm just on a
take
roll.
this soul, like you can
we
switch
really wanna
between
make sure
which
that we're
abilities
still
to
making
have in
balance
a
changes, or,
prismatic
if
build
we have to
at the
ban
same
something
time. Like,
for
okay,
that
or like have
epic
like
raid
grid
race or the
tiers
dungeon
or
race
like
that's gonna happen with
different
Renegades, right? The
blueprints
quality
or
of
something
that
where like,
experience
okay,
is
we have
incredibly
these
important to
abilities
us,
and these
we know
supers
it's
and all this
incredibly
stuff
important
in
to y'all.
this set.
So, again,
But
we're
then
gonna
you can
pause on
access
nerfs
a
and balance
different
changes
set
now,
of
but if we really need to
prismatic
change something
where
'cause it's
same
critical
fragments,
for
all that, but
those,
instead it's
upcoming
like, okay,
events,
for me as a hunter, instead of having
we'll make
Golden
it-
Gun
yeah.
Super, I have Blade
Ultimately,
Barrage.
it's like there's
Instead
some things where
of
you watch somebody go on a Titan and kill a raid boss
the
in
Whirling
2
Blade, I have
punches,
Tempest Storm.
that's
Instead of
critical.
Shadow
That
Shot,
needs to
I
be
got
toned
Night
down
Stalker
or
or
balanced around. But other things like
Spectral
we actually
Blade.
have a list here,
and then the other
of,
two
we
ones, and
announced
then
some
have
tuning
different
changes or
melees, or
nerfs
just
that
something to
we're gonna
where
be
I
reverting.
feel like,
Last week we were talking about Grand Overture and
because
Queenbreaker.
I feel like
We're
honestly,
reverting
with
the
the
changes
fact
there.
that prismatic to me
And
felt
we
like
had some
endgame,
reworks to
just let us have it
exotics like
all. Let's have
Stronghold,
complete
Chromatic
unlimited
Fire.
build crafting
We're going to be
potential.
reverting those. And then as a part of this new initiative where we're looking at our philosophy, reevaluating how we do these things, we'll be looking how we approach it and how we communicate it.
Yes.
So
Exactly.
cool. And then final note to end on a high, honestly, like we've been talking about nerfs and all that. Let's talk about buffs.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So
Okay,
we've
cool.
got some buffs. We've been working with the gameplay team around supers and subclasses that are going to be coming. Some with Ash and Iron here in October, but then also in December with Renegades. And I think you've been talking with them a little more closely actually in the last 24 hours.
Yeah, I
big
mean,
thank you to
I'm okay
Ben,
with if
Womack,
they
Eric
do some
Smith,
balanced
Sandbox
nerfs
team.
across
A
the
couple
board
notes,
with
like,
everything
we
if
saw
they
a thread where
unlock
folks were
prismatic
saying, hey, the
altogether. I
original
just think
3
that it would
supers that launched
literally
with
be
Destiny
the
11
thing that
years
helps
ago,
the game
happy
out too
birthday.
much. Because
they
talk
feel a
about
bit
build
undertuned,
crafting.
and I
This
saw
game
a
is
note
one
where
of
it's
the
like,
better
Word of
build
Dawn,
crafting
Titan Bubble.
systems as of
That
late.
needs to be brought
Let us have
up.
full
Golden
access
Gun.
to it.
I know Warlocks are getting some abilities changes
Yeah,
too.
some turrets.
So
Turrets changes coming very
yeah,
soon. Yep.
and grenades and other things too outside
Yep.
of turrets. So we will have a full list over the coming weeks, and honestly, it may build. We need to get our roadmap together so we know exactly which hot fixes, updates they're going to be rolling out.
I am curious about
But,
this
yeah, we'll be as
roadmap too.
transparent
If
as
it's
possible
similar
with you.
like the
So
roadmaps that they
to-
used to
to
do
really
back
end it,
in
and
back
get
in
into
like
that,
year
the
3,
awesome
year
Ash
4
Iron
with like
content,
Shadowkeep Beyond Light, where they got to show
thank
us
you
like
again to everybody that's
different
been giving us
stuff being
feedback. Thank you to
implemented into
everybody
the
that's
game.
been
I
playing
want to
and
see those
diving into all
roadmaps.
the
Those are
changes.
kind of like cool in my
We know
opinion.
some need work,
It
and
helped
we're going to be
kind of
doing
get
that.
a
We've been
better
listening,
visual
and now we're getting through the planning
of
stages, and we're executing on a bunch of
what some
changes over
stuff
the
that
next
I
few
want to see a
updates
nice
and
roadmap. I
beyond
want to see a
Renegades.
roadmap,
So,
especially
Robbie,
if like
thank you
if
for joining
again
us.
I
As
would
we're
love
going
if they
into
brought
Ash
back
Iron, we
again.
got
I said it
patch full of
before.
new devs.
Bring
So,
back the seasonal
yeah,
story
thanks so much.
content, the
Thanks for
weekly
having
story
me. And
content,
yeah,
not
we're
just this
listening,
ritual
and
stuff.
we're going to keep responding
Where
to feedback.
it's
So
like,
thank
oh,
y'all
you
so
get
much,
rewards.
and,
I
yeah,
want a
let's get some more
story.
people
That
out
was
there
what
and talking
made
about
Destiny
You
is
brought
the
it right up.
story,
We
and
have
they're
a
talking
trailer for
about
Ash
this,
Iron.
and I
Let's do
just
it.
have not been seeing it. I want them to in and build the story. But I'll shove for this. Even though we've kind of already seen it.
Into the plague lands.
Yeah, so the conductor coming to plague lands.
We're sending you in to investigate and take action.
That, I'm pretty sure, is the exotic, that pulse rifle, unless it's something else. Does it look like that pulse rifle potentially had sticky rounds that exploded? That looks dope. Now, this is something that I know some people were a little bit disappointed with this dungeon rotation thing. The fact that they're rotating the, you know, the different encounters, which I think it's cool to bring dungeons like that in, but the fact that, I think from what I heard, the only gear accessible is like the current pool rather than, it's almost like a Pantheon thing, or, not Pantheon, but, Into the Light sort of thing. It's gonna be very interesting to see how the dregs work in the in PvE. Now this, I'm curious if this is a relic or if that is the like an actual new, like an exotic. We'll have to see.
All right, welcome back. In about 20 minutes, the content from that trailer is going live. Let's talk about Ashen Iron. We have a bunch of really cool stuff coming with a new activity called Reclaim. We have a new introductory activity that's going to be giving you some insight into the narrative. We also have an exotic mission coming in October. Team's finishing up on that, and we're super excited for the weapon.
Okay, so not day one, but in October.
And
I'm
we
okay
actually have
with.
some updates to recurring events like Iron Banner, Arms Week, Festival of the Lost, and more. So without further ado, hello, welcome to our couch.
Interesting.
Developers.
Okay, so
some of you have been here before, but Noah, first on the couch. This is your first time.
Yeah, no, I'm super happy to be here.
Yeah, welcome. For folks to learn who you are.
Yeah.
Who are you? What do you do? What's your title?
Yeah, my name's Noah Pearson. I'm an associate sandbox designer here at Bungie. While my title is like officially working on the armor team, I do work in exotic armor from time to time, but you find me more commonly working on the seasonal artifacts, like the one for Heresy, the current one for Season of Reclamation. Both those are mine. But I've also branched out and I've gotten to do a pretty cool exotic weapon in this release as well.
Awesome. Next on the couch, Jerome, welcome back.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
Yeah, really quick, let's get a summary. Who are you? What do you do?
I'm Jerome. I'm a narrative lead, so we do the lore, we do the dialogue, we do the cutscenes, and we plan the overall story for Destiny 2.
Awesome. Last but
yeah,
not
sorry
least,
about that.
Clayton, welcome back.
My
I believe you
moderator.
were last year for Revenant and Into the Light.
Yep.
I will say
For
one
folks
thing.
that may have missed out on those streams,
very.
What do you do?
So I'm a design lead here.
Like I said,
for
I'm
the
intrigued by that
activities and
exotic.
events
I am intrigued
area,
about this
on
intro
Destiny
mission.
2, and in
I'm
the past,
hoping
I've been
that
a
like,
key
oh, this
designer or feature
because I
owner
think
for
one of the things
activities
that
like
I think
Onslaught or
that
Coil,
I did
or Seraph Shield. So it's been really fun.
that I
getting my hands
accidentally.
dirty in different types of activities and bringing those.
Okay, here we go. I got some gameplay. Okay,
Awesome.
some old
Thank you so
Plagueland
much.
content.
So
I hope
as
the-
we're diving through some stuff, we already have
this
gameplay
particular
rolling. This is our
story,
new
the
activity
intro
Reclaim.
mission.
But
I at
Jerome,
least
let's talk
hope
about narrative.
that again that they kind of make some of the story mission content easier to
Maya
grasp.
Sundaresh,
Because like
the conductor,
after the
has somewhat
campaigns, like
overextended
again, there
herself,
wasn't really any seasonal
on
story. I think
Kepler
like some
during
people
the events
expected like
of,
those,
Edge of Fate.
like the blue
And
side quest
she
missions in the
foolishly tried to
campaign.
meddle in the affairs
Part
of
of it,
the
but
Nine,
who knows? We'll have to see what
and,
happens.
essentially assassinated 3 of the Nine.
Okay, yeah. So
three of
also, I think I am right.
three
That does
being
look like to be a
single.
new
Yes,
pulse
exactly.
rifle.
And that's going to have huge knock-on effects for the people of Earth in physics and chemistry, and we'll hear a lot more about that in Renegades. But for now, Maya is somewhat depleted, right? And she is starting to lose control over her collective. She's starting to bleed individuals at the edges of her collective, and those are the pants-wearing, poker-playing decks that you
do
saw.
crime. Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Exactly,
okay. So from
exactly.
Renegades. Okay,
And
so
she
kind
needs to
of
reassert control
feeding
over her
into it.
collective.
Okay.
And in order to do that, she needs a signal boost to maximize the power of her waning echo of command. And the best tool for that job is, of course, Golden Age tech. And the best place to find Golden Age tech is in the Vanguard Vault, which is why Ashen Iron begins with a defense of the tower from a smash and grab by Maya's forces, both
okay.
Vex and conscripted Cabal, which you'll learn more about during the season.
Interesting.
But that's going to be a start, but not sufficient for her plans. So she will need a fully functional Warsat network to really expand her reach. And there's only one place where you can find that, and that's in the Plaguelands, which is where most of Ashen Iron takes place.
Awesome. So speaking of the smash and grab, when players first sign in for Ashen Iron, they're going to see a node that they can launch for the introductory mission. It's not auto-launched. You're going to select it, jump in when you're ready. But after that,
Okay,
you'll pop
that's
into
fair.
Reclaim. Those are going to be some new activities. And Clayton, let's get a quick overview. What are players seeing on the screen?
Yeah, so Reclaim is our new 3-player activity. It comes with 3 different variants. It has players, like Jerome was saying, going into the Plaguelands, stopping Maya's forces from taking Golden Age tech and reclaiming
Like I said,
those
it looks
areas,
like it has
those
an
territories.
alternate firing
So
mode. I don't know
you
what-
notice that there's a lack of Fallen, but we, through our like ambient combatants and our environmental storytelling, you'll know a little bit more about what has happened there, how Maya's come in and pushed them all out. You'll see some of them trying to fight back to get in because they think that's their land, right? And as a player, you're trying to go in there and play in a similar way that you might find like Overthrow, where we took a lot of inspiration from. So you get to choose how you want to fill that progress bar. Do you want to finish a bunch of encounters that are randomly generated, which adds to a bunch of replayability? You can progress by finding hidden chests or defeating roaming high-value targets. There's collectibles in there as well, all without like a timer, so you and your fire team can strategize and take your time to go through the area. Awesome. And then once you've completed the area, unlike Overthrow, you move to the next area by way of ship that you'll see on the screen.
Stellar. Yeah, and I was talking to our gameplay folks before this launched, and we talked a bit about there's a bit of like, nether DNA in here, where you have your main objectives, and then you can find things throughout the area as well.
Thanks for reminding me. Yeah, we have Vivian went ham and gave us these like quite frankly unbalanced buffs that will have a rare chance of spawning, and you get to choose which one. One example is that if you choose it, you'll just be radiant and what's the other? Radiant and amplified. Thank you. Yeah, just the whole time. So, yeah, have fun choosing between these crazy buffs and using them to finish the activity.
Awesome.
Interesting.
And when we're talking about collectibles, there's going to be some lore collectibles too, correct?
Absolutely. We're continuing the pass forward from the previous expansion.
Oh wait, that axe on the one character, I guess that is an exotic potentially. I can see that. Or a new weapon maybe? I have no idea.
It's both in the cast and the themes, though it's not explicit, so they'll have to use a little detective work, we hope, but it will give a lot of information about what's to come.
Got it. So these are going to be like the data pads you find.
Yeah, exactly.
In the portal.
Exactly.
Awesome. Yeah. So I mean, let's talk about weapons. Let's talk about the loot. And Noah, now it's time for the spotlight to go on you.
Yeah.
First up, let's talk about the exotic that's going to be in the rewards pass for Ash Iron. This is going to be our pulse rifle.
Yeah, so Noon Malpais is going to be our reward pass exotic for this release. Obviously, with the Edge of Fate, we released a rocket frame pulse rifle, Mint Retrograde, that people have really taken to a liking for. And we kind of took a look at that, and we're like, well, what's a cool way to one-up that and like plus one it for an exotic? So you may notice from the gameplay that this rocket pulse doesn't just shoot like the micro rockets. It shoots sticky bombs. And these will stick onto the environment, they'll stick onto enemies, and when you hold down your special reload button, they'll pop like little firecrackers.
Okay,
it's
that's
really
kind
fun
of cool.
to just sort of like spray them out across like a group of guys, and then you like turn around, walk away from them, and click the button, and have them like pop all behind you.
And they do damage even on the impact too.
So this may say a lot about me as a person, but you can also stick these to your teammates, right?
I guess you'll have to see.
All right. Okay, so let's talk about the next exotic. This is going to be tied to an exotic mission that's coming out in October, and I can already see you kind of getting excited, like Vivian was excited for the crossbows that we added. Let's talk about the Iron Axe.
Yeah, he kept me waiting, huh? Yeah.
Oh yeah, so we do have it.
You know, way back with Rise of Iron, like as a player, I
So it's
remember
not a relic.
YouTube
It
videos
is
coming out ahead of
an
it,
exotic.
of, like, YouTubers being like, hey, maybe Bungie's gonna give us this axe that's in the marketing, and like obviously didn't come to pass in that release, and like come final shape, Crows got it, and I, much like many people,
Wolf's
were like,
Bane.
I want
Attack
that axe.
When's my turn?
Like I want
Light
that.
text generates sword
So
energy
when I
and
heard that
have
we
a
were
chance
gonna
to
be
spawn
doing a little return
seeking
to the play
quick
plan,
silver
it's like, I'm gonna
nanites that
twist
yield the
whatever arms
wielder upon
necessary
attacking.
to finally get the thing that
Traditional
I
guarding
know I
is
want,
disabled.
and I've seen other people
Dude,
want
this
for
is
ages.
nuts.
So, yeah,
This is
I can
cool.
confirm that's no relic. That's our new exotic weapon.
Thank you. Yeah, and I think for Clayton and Jerome, since this exotic mission, the team is finishing up the touches and really building this experience. It'll be launching in October. So let's just give a quick preview, no spoilers or no deep spoilers, about what's the premise.
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, Maya wants to expand her reach, and the best way to do that is like the same way you would with the Wi-Fi in your house. You need expanders, you need routers, right, to boost that signal. And so she is going to be looking to get her hands on Warsat technology, which is why we'll be working with Saint 14 and Anna Bray throughout the season. Saint 14 is sort of our tactical expert, and then Anna, as with her association to Rasputin, having all the subject matter expertise on Warsats.
Awesome.
And not to get too deep into spoilers, but you will be working with 3 of Kayatol's Scions specialists in the missions.
Oh, okay.
I can't wait. Yeah, October can't come soon enough. So let's come back to day one. I keep checking my watch here. 10 minutes, 11 minutes until launch. We also have a slate of legendary weapons that are going to be coming out. We have some armor sets in the portal that are going to have brand new armor set bonuses, but we also have brand new weapons. And I know a couple of these things are kind of complementary to exotics.
Yeah. So with Ash and Iron, we as Sandbox were like taking a look at some exotics we wanted to bring up, and we talked about Mida and Sturm getting some updates to bring them up to that modern parity. But like when those weapons came out during year 1, they came with their paired weapons, and like during that time, you know, it made sense, you know, like have 2 primaries. That was what the game was. So when you're taking a look at like bringing them up to modern Sandbox standards, you're like, well, we should probably hit it for the paired weapons as well too. So we took a look at some of our other special archetypes, and we're like, what could we set up for this? So with this release, we've talked about them, I believe, in the TWID, but we are going to have a rocket frame Drang Unfall, and a new like lightweight Mida macro tool shotgun. And both of them have perk pools that kind of key off of being those paired weapons. So like Mida macro tool has Discord and Trench Barrel, and it was really fun to like run that with Mida. Because then you have like, you know, you pop a couple guys to get those like attachments onto Mida, and then you switch and you have Discord proc, and you like slap a guy, and then you just are able to like pump into a bunch of dudes. And it's got the really cool draw animation from Wastelander back during 30th anniversary, so you get that cool like cowboy draw. And it's so fun to run around.
And the sidearm is Arc, correct?
It is our second Arc rocket frame sidearm. It's got a pretty big mag size, so instead of volt shot on this one, it has jolting feedback, which is pretty fun to plug a couple rockets into a guy and have them jolted, and then pop them with like a really powerful Sturm shot.
Awesome. Yeah, and these are going to be added so through the portal. Reclaim is going to be living in the portal in the fire team area, and that's where you're going to earn some of these. We also have Crucible Ops is going to be the source of the shotgun, and then a couple other
That's
things
actually kind
as
of
well
cool.
that,
I don't mind that. I wouldn't mind actually them continuing the idea of like certain weapons gain additional perks when you have other exotics equipped.
Events, our recurring events. And the first thing that kicks off is actually a new one to celebrate Reclaim. And Clayton, what are we going to be doing today?
Yeah, we're launching with New Territories Reclaim. It's a new standard event that will highlight a new activity. And so we do that with our daily challenges, weekly challenges, or it's for a week, so 1 weekly challenge, and then it has its own reward track and an event home that you can launch the activity from as well.
Awesome. And then I believe it's next week, we also have Iron Banner coming back.
That's right.
So is that also going to have an event home?
Yes, it'll have event home, same slew of things where daily challenges, a weekly challenge, you'll have your reward track, we have a hand cannon coming in there, we have an armor set, and
new Iron Banner armor set. That'll be interesting to see what the
Banner, but I've heard they're actually quite fun.
Yeah, pretty cool. Might want to hold on.
I'm curious to see what the set bonus will be for Iron Banner.
And then the third event that's going to be coming is Arms Week. Noah, coming back. The first one was all centered around let's look at hand cannons. We had the new shotgun style hand cannon.
Yeah.
And then with this one, it's going to be shotguns.
Yeah. We're taking a look at shotguns this time around. So much like during the prior Arms Week, we will also have a cool slate of shotgun mods this time around. My favorite of which, when the designer who was working on them, Taylor Bjorndal, who was on the stream before, when he was starting to work on them, me and him were sort of bouncing ideas back and forth. And I was talking about like old rapid fire frame shotguns when they had like the really fast rate of fire.
Oh no, wait!
Like,
I think this.
Hey, what if all shotguns shot like that? And he like paused for a minute, and then I got the message. What if they're all just Fourth Horsemen?
God!
You mad scientist!
It is really entertaining to take a slug shotgun and have it shoot that fast.
Yeah, and we saw a lot of celebration with these volatile mods for hand cannons during that week.
I was gonna say, because one thing I was looking at as well,
Fourth Horsemen everywhere.
Yeah.
But we have a couple more, and we'll leave that
looked
for
like just the shotgun that they.
Next up on the slate, we have Festival Lost is going to be coming back during Ash and Iron, and we have a preview of our armor sets. So these are armor ornament sets. Y'all voted on these earlier in the year last year.
Oh, I love the Hunter
one. We had to show them. They look
great
awesome.
votes.
I cannot wait to have those roses on my shoulders.
Warlock.
But with Festival Lost, we have some new activity content, correct?
That's right. The Headless Ones have broken out of Haunted Lost Sector jail. Because of that, we have new activities. So we have a new PvE 6-player activity called Haunted Altars. And then we have a new PvP activity called Red Rumble. Hocus Focusing is coming back. It's going to be a 2-week-long activity. We have 2 new weapons, your Pies weapon. You'll have your reward track, event home, the whole shebang. I'm very excited. It is very fun to
if
play.
this does as good as the new Solstice did, I'm excited for it.
And then the last on our list, so Jerome, we have a new event called Call to Arms that's going to be coming at the end of Ash and Iron. Can you give us a quick overview?
Sure. We're going to be working with Devrim K, who has been holding down the EDZ for the better part of a decade without a ghost, right? Doing it all in one life. and he'll be taking some much-deserved R&R in the tower and being our liaison to the foundries. We have to remember that most of the guns that the Guardian fires are designed and produced in the last city. Of course, we know that they're actually designed and produced here with the Sandbox team.
What do you mean? Cassoid's in-house.
That's right, Mr. Cassoid, right here. So we will be working with Devram to stress test the latest and greatest in gear from the foundries, and the Guardians that can push their gear the furthest and get the most out of it will reap the greatest reward. So there's a competitive aspect to it as well.
Okay.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, when we're talking about this competitive aspect, the call to arms is going to be a ton of
definitely
rewards,
sounds
legendaries,
interesting,
some
to say the
cosmetics
least.
for anyone to earn, but then we have kind of some cosmetics at the top for our hardcore, so to speak, to really earn. And Clayton, I think you were talking about a helmet?
Yeah, we have a helmet ornament. It is fantastic looking. When you equip it, if you're in that top earner, you will have this like tail of flames coming from you. And much like the trial glows, these flames signify that you are a top competitor in this.
So when I load into the tower, I'm going to see this guy with a giant fiery mohawk. I'm going to know, okay, they were top of called arms.
Impressed and scared at the same time.
But then we have some cosmetics, like I said, for just general players too. Like I believe there's an exotic ornament for the pulse rifle on the reward track, and a bunch of other things to earn too. So
we have daily login rewards as well, and we have vouchers that will actually help set you up for the next season.
Awesome.
Oh, really?
Well, thanks for the quick overview. We will definitely have more.
That I like. I kind of like them being like, "Hey,
and,
we're going to give you stuff to help you out
we'll
for
have an update before each of these
season.
events to give you a quick a recap of what we've been talking about today. So, just to end it up as well, we have a brand new crossbow that's going to be coming in. So our first crossbow was introduced through raids. And this one is going to be through our events. To start, it's going to be a low drop chance from any of the events that we just covered. And then in Call to Arms, you can focus this thing to really hammer on getting those rolls. And Noah, what's the damage type on this?
Yeah, so you might have seen it in the gameplay. It's going to be a stasis crossbow. And obviously, with a stasis weapon comes stasis perks. And I'm very happy to say that it does have chill clip, and it in fact does freeze in 2 shots.
Wow.
Oh my god, there's such like a fun play pattern of like you pop a guy twice with it, they freeze, and then if you have serrated bolts, you run up and you pull them out of him, and the serrated bolts do damage and cause him to pop. So you just like put him in a major and you cause him to explode.
Wow, that would be kind of
and it was
disgusting
an oddly fun play pattern of just running around and blasting people that I got quite a few giggles out of in playtests.
I can't wait. So again, to say it, today with our New Territories event, you can get this to drop. It will be a low drop chance, but over the course of the rest of the season with each event, more chances, and then Call to Arms, you can focus it along with other gear and really go hard for the role you want.
And it has a holofoil
and a holofoil in Call to Arms as well. So that brings us to the end of our show. So
I really would.
Thank you all for
I
joining
almost
us on
wish
the
that they would have showed us what the holofoil for.
We hope you enjoyed the Vidoc, the Renegades pre-orders
Festival
are
of the
live
Lost
now, and
event.
as we said
That would
at
be
the top
sick.
of the show, we have some new pre-order incentives that also apply to the Year of Prophecy folks that purchase that edition. A new legendary ship, a new legendary emblem, and then, yeah, in 3 minutes here, we have Ashen Iron launching. So thanks for coming in. Hope you enjoy the rewards. We'll have more details on our quality of life updates over the next few weeks and a roadmap coming soon. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Can't thank you enough. And if you want to stick around, we're going to be handing off the stream to Mactix. Good friend. He's great at Destiny. Sometimes I do question his PvP prowess, but love the guy. So thanks for joining. Have a good day.
I gotta say, so my full overall take, I'm excited. I think Renegades, the whole Star Wars content, I think that's gonna be really, really unique. Really interesting. As for some of the other stuff, I will just have to see. Like I said, Renegades looks awesome. The fact that they're bringing a Star Wars-esque feel to it, I think that's gonna be cool to see. Ashen Iron, I can only hope that they continue on just being good and everything. Just continues to develop and they just learn. Sometimes maybe you got to go back in order to go forward, but we'll have to see. But yeah, on to Ashen Iron. Time to log into that.